Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who all learned this truth from and who do it well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit, and I'm entitled this one, Victuals shall be so good cheap. And ultimately what is victuals is going into the necessities of life, anywhere from food, water, clothing, even, shelter, having a roof over your head. Because right now, even though the economy is collapsing, the value of the dollar is going down, people are getting laid off in mass numbers, all these jobs are being taken by AI, but yet people are still able to somehow afford their rent, afford groceries. People are able to, move things around and maneuver around inflation, but very soon it's going to get to the point where it's going to be hyperinflation. There's going to be a famine of food, a famine of water, a famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because right now, majority of people, even though they're hurting, their pockets are hurting, they're still able to go out, to these restaurants and to the club on the weekends and the bars. Some people are still even able to go to these events, to these sports events, these sports arenas, these modern day coliseums, go to the NFL game, the MLB, NBA game. So they're chilling, like it says in that quote, give them bread and circus, and these people will never revolt. And that's what the case is. As long as these people have bread and circus, even though the world is burning right in front of them, they're never going to revolt. It's going to take for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to send a famine of food and water for these people to finally lose it, to finally bug out. Because as long as these people have food, they can still go to McDonald's at 3 in the morning, drive through a lane, wrapped around the street. These people are never going to notice of everything that's going around them. Here the world is collapsing, the economy is collapsing. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is about to bring great judgment, great death upon the earth, but yet these people don't care. So it's going to take a famine for these people finally to wake up. When they go to the grocery store, there's not going to be any food. The pharmacies are going to be wiped out. Because you see in all these movies, these apocalyptic movies, when all hell breaks loose, what's the first thing that people go to is the grocery stores, the pharmacies, the CVS's, the Walgreens, and the liquor stores. So when all these different things get taken away, these people are going to lose it, and they're not going to be stable. Only the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are going to be fed in that day. Like it says, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. And these people aren't serving the Lord, so they're going to be out here starving. They're going to be crying out for answers, and they're not going to get any answers. The only thing they got coming is judgment and death for being wicked, especially our people, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that comprise of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Right now, people are still able to afford groceries, even though they're rising. They're still affordable. Maybe you may have to get less. You may have to get a cheaper brand, but you're still able to buy groceries. Make a meal. But it's gonna get to the point where these groceries are going to be empty. There's not going to be any trucks, any 18-wheelers being moved around. And then people are going to be like, damn, what's happening? It is a famine of food, water, ultimately for all the wickedness is going around the earth. And here you got Donald Trump passing all these draconian laws. People don't care because they have bread and circus, they have Netflix, they got Pizza Hut and McDonald's and Popeyes. They don't care about all the different prophecies that are happening around the earth. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And that's what's going to happen. A great famine, great destruction, civil war, martial law. Like it says in the scriptures, it's better let me get it real quick. It's Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with the hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for the wants of the fruit of the field. So that's what's gonna happen. It's better to get put to death by these troops during civil war, martial law, by the guns. Better to get a bullet to the noodle, if you know what I mean, than to die of starvation, because dying of starvation is a slow and painful death. It's agonizing. You're having ate in days, and your body's slowly eating itself. And that's what these Babylonians, especially here in America, where these people have never fasted a day in their life, and if they did, it was forced. It was a forced fast. These people are so used to eating all the damn time, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. Can't put the snacks down. Constantly snacking on food. Can't go an hour without eating. So, man, these people are gonna lose it when a famine of food and water comes. They're gonna lose it when they can no longer take their meds and go to the liquor store every day and get them a bottle of whatever they drink. Not being able to get their weed and their pills and all these different psych meds that they're on to keep them stable. So these people are going to completely lose it when Yahweh Shema Shai really sends that famine, because there's already a famine happening. Slow, but you can't, you really can't notice it like that. But these grocery stores, they're drying up. They're really on the reserves already. So how much more that all these food processing plants are getting burnt, quote unquote, burnt down. You got crops drying up. You got these trucks not moving, because there's no drivers, being able to move them. So these are all signs that Yahweh Shema Shai is about to send a great famine of food and water. And people aren't going to be able to go to the grocery stores and buy food like they're used to every week. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 23. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to have all these dead bodies everywhere. Pestilences, diseases, because there's nobody to bury them. People with looking like skeletons because they died of starvation. That's what these Babylonians, these wicked ass 2/3 of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites, the wicked of our people, have coming to them, because they refuse to take heed to the message of Yahweh Shema Shai. But ultimately, the Lord already set up who's not supposed to get this word, which are the wicked of our people, and these wicked ass heathens also. They have a great judgment coming to them, especially these so-called white people, which are the descendants of Esau, Edom, which are the Edomites. This is 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And that's what's coming. We have a great famine coming, where these grocery stores are going to be wiped out. There's not going to be nothing in them. And that's already happening around America, especially where Jake lives at. Jake already lives in a food desert where there's really no grocery stores around. And if they are, it's the lowest quality meat, the lowest quality produce, vegetables, and fruit. All they got is boxed food, processed food, because that's how this devil operates. He wants to kill off Jake by feeding them poison. But like it says in the scriptures, you shall eat poison and live. And here we don't know what we're eating. We try our best to eat clean and stay away from all the unlawful foods. But yet this devil puts all this poison in the food to try to kill Jake off. This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 15. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour them. So Yahweh Shemiah Shah already has that great judgment set upon the wicked of these wicked ass 2/3 Israelites, these wicked ass heathens that aren't serving Yahweh Shemiah Shah. He already has the sleeper cells ready to be activated. He has all these different plagues that are just ready to get loosed upon the earth, because all the wickedness is going around, because these people, they don't know what the hell is going on. They don't know that society is about to collapse, that all hell is about to break loose. Here you got Donald Trump sending all these national guards, throughout all these major cities, but people don't care. People like, nah, I'm good. I got my bread and circus. I can still turn on Netflix and go to McDonald's. I'm chilling. I'm not worried about no draconian laws. I'm not worried about no martial law. But that's what it's going to take for these people to wake up. It's going to be when the bread and circus gets taken away. That's when they're going to be like, damn. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that was set on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. And ultimately that pale horse represents the tribulation, which is Jacob's trouble, where there's going to be famine, the sword being sent out to delete a large amount of people, ultimately for all the wickedness that's going around the earth, because these people refuse to wake up and refuse to see what's going on around the earth, which is clear for the elect. But the rest of these people, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it till that pestilence and famine and plagues get sent onto them. This is Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 11. It reads, Then said the Lord unto me, Pray not for these people for their good. Verse 12, When they fast, I will not hear their cry, and when they offer burnt offering and oblation, I will not accept them, but I will consume them by the sword, and by the famine, and by pestilences. So that's what these wicked ass jakes and these heathens got coming, because they refuse to see what's going around them, because they're so consumed by the bread and circus. So it's going to take a famine for these people to wake up. But the elect, they're going to be watching out for all these different signs. They know that a famine is coming, but ultimately Yahweh Shemiah Shai is going to keep his elect. Unlike these 2/3 wicked ass jakes and these heathens, they're not going to know what's going to hit them. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, because the elect, they know what time there will be, and they know that all hell's about to break loose. That ultimately, the only way to be kept from these plagues, the famine, the pestilences, is by being covered by the blood of Yahweh, by being covered and being kept in that secret place, which is under the shadow of the Almighty. Verse 2, For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. And that's how it's going to happen. People aren't aware of everything that's taking place right in front of them. So it's going to hit them like a thief in the night. A lot of people are going to be out and about, chilling. And then the system's going to crash them, like, what the hell is going on? The foreign UN troops are going to come in swarming. They're going to be like, what the hell is going on? Verse 3, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as to roll upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. So that's what's going to happen. Right now, people are in peace and safety, in the spirit of mirth. They're not in the house of mourning, thinking that everything's good, thinking that all hell is not about to break loose, that a famine is never going to come, that things are going to continue as they were. Grocery stores are constantly going to be stocked. They'll be able to go to the nightclubs and the bars every weekend. That's the mentality that these people have. That all hell is never going to break loose, but very soon they're gonna find out the hard way. Verse 4, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Verse 5, for you are all children of the light. And the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. So the elect are going to be get caught up in these plagues and the famine, the pestilences, unlike the 2/3 and these heathens, because the elect are watching out. They're getting themselves right, so they could be kept during all these different famines, all these different pestilences. Unlike these 2/3, they're chilling. They're not worried about Jacob's trouble. They're not worried about famine, because in their mindset is, I'm good. I got my McDonald's. I got my Netflix. Got my Love Island. I'm good. I don't need to worry about no famine. Verse 6, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Verse 7, for they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night, and ultimately going into being spiritually asleep, spiritually drunk, like these 2/3 that don't know what the hell's going on in that deep slumber, like these heathens, and even these Jake that are currently prepping, for the famine, built bunkers, and then these heathens, ultimately those bunkers that they're building are really for the elect, because Yahweh Shemel Shai has already made provisions. Like I said, you shall laugh. There's going to be plenty of provisions for the elect, while these 2/3 are going to be starving. These heathens are going to be starving, even though they built these bunkers, because they're not spiritually prepping. Verse 8, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith, and love for an helmet, the hope of salvation. And that's our hope, being delivered from Jacob's trouble, martial law, being delivered from the hour of temptation, and ultimately being delivered when those missiles hit. Being changed into the new bodies, having the new covenant written in our inward parts. Verse 9, for Yahweh Shemel Shai had not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And that's what, that's our hope, being delivered by Yahweh Shai, not by carnally prepping and building bunkers and relying on gold and silver. No, we're relying on Yahweh Shemel Shai to keep us, to feed us, to provide, to keep us safe, till those missiles hit, because Yahweh Shemel Shai is coming to deliver the elect, while also destroying the 2/3 and these heathens. But that's pretty much the point. Pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learned this truth from him who do it well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3. The large